All right, let's dive right into it. Today, we're talking about how to build a brand online, especially for those of you with small teams, but, really big ambitions. If you've ever felt like a tiny fish in a massive digital ocean, this one's for you.
I mean, think about it. We are all swimming in a sea of endless options. Every single time you tap or swipe, a whole new wave of products and services and voices comes crashing down, all fighting for just a tiny sliver of your attention. It's a total digital flood out there, and it's so easy to get swept away.
So that's the big question, right? In this crazy, noisy world, how do you become more than just another post that someone scrolls past? How do you build a brand that actually sticks, that people connect with and remember long after they put their phone down? Well, let's get into it.
To really stand out, you've got to understand what you're actually up against. And it's not just a little background chatter. We're talking about a deafening roar of tweets, posts, ads, you name it. They're all screaming for the same thing: your audience's attention. Just look at this number for a second. 4.5 billion. That's how many people are online. Now, on one hand, that's your potential audience, which is amazing. But on the other hand, that's also your competition. You're not just competing with other businesses in your field. You're literally competing with cat videos and your cousin's vacation photos for eyeballs. So, how do you cut through all that static? How do you make sure your message doesn't just get lost in the shuffle? Well, the secret isn't to shout louder than everyone else. Nope, it's to speak clearer. It's all about finding your unique voice and connecting with the people who are actually waiting to hear what you have to say. And that clarity, it starts with a super solid foundation for your brand. Before you can even think about navigating the wild world of digital marketing, you absolutely need a compass. And your brand identity, that's your compass. It's what guides every single move you make and keeps you on track. Okay, so your brand identity is way more than just a slick logo or some nice colors. It's really the soul of your business. It's your mission, your voice, your values, all rolled into one. It's the story you're telling the world, and you want that story to be so compelling that your customers start telling it for you. So here's your roadmap, a simple 4-step process. First up, you have to dig deep and figure out your why. What's your purpose? Next, you got to craft a look and a voice that actually reflect that why in everything you create. Third, you need a solid strategy to keep everything consistent. And finally, you have to live and breathe your brand. I mean, put it in everything, from your emails to how you answer the phone.
Now, all this theory is great, but what does it look like in the real world? Let's check out a small business that actually did this. They ditched the old school, hard sell tactics and went all in on a more human approach. Let me introduce you to Fast Signs Orlando Central.
This is the classic scenario, right? A small team with huge dreams. This is Kay and Jackie, a 2-woman marketing powerhouse, juggling, get this, 7 different social media platforms. Their story is such a great reminder that you don't need a giant team to make a huge impact. So their old strategy was basically the digital version of someone shouting at you through a megaphone. Hey, here's our stuff, buy it! But they realized pretty quickly that that just doesn't work anymore. We're all tired of being sold to. So they completely changed their approach. Their new mission was to put a human face on their business and build real connections with people. This simple phrase became their guiding light. It's such a simple truth, but it's so often forgotten in the chaos of digital marketing. They understood that trust and relatability, that's the real currency online. You don't build a loyal community by being a faceless corporation, you build it by showing the real human heart of your brand. So, what does a human-first strategy actually look like? Well, for Kay and Jackie, it meant things like Why Fast Signs Wednesday, where they'd feature their own awesome employees. It meant celebrating local events and even shouting out other small businesses in their area. See, they weren't just pushing products anymore. They were building a real community, one post at a time.
So how on earth did a 2-person team manage 7 platforms without completely burning out? Well, they had a couple of secret weapons: data and discipline. They stopped guessing and started listening really carefully and planning everything out. And the results? They were absolutely incredible. By combining that human touch with a really smart, data-driven strategy, they saw their engagement on Reels shoot up by, wait for it, 1,000% in just 6 months. That's not a typo. 1,000%. That wasn't just luck. That was a brilliant strategy paying off big time. The engine that was driving all this success is something called social listening. Now, this is way more than just checking your notifications. It's about being a digital detective, tuning into all the conversations happening about your brand, your competitors, and your entire industry. It's how you find out what your audience really cares about. So what does this social listening actually uncover? For Kay and Jackie, it meant discovering that their Instagram audience, mostly millennials, were super active during their lunch break. But on LinkedIn, where they were talking to executives, evenings were the sweet spot. So they didn't just spray and pray. They tailored their content and their timing for each platform to make sure it really landed. I love this. Kay's personal motto is pretty much the perfect mantra for anyone in digital marketing. Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. You have to be. In the online world, things change in a blink. Rigidity just doesn't work. You've got to be willing to experiment, learn from the data, and change course when you need to.
Okay, so how can you take all these amazing lessons from Kaya and Jackie's journey and apply them to your own brand? Let's boil it all down into a simple, actionable blueprint that any small business can use.
All right, here it is, your brand building cheat sheet. First, just show up. Let people see the real you. Second, be consistent. Seriously, scheduling tools will be your best friend. Third, listen. Let your data tell you what's working. Fourth, don't be afraid to try things and even fail a little. That's how you learn. And finally, and this is a big one, go deep before you go wide. Master one or two platforms before you try to be everywhere at once.
And that brings us to this final thought. In an age where we have AI writing content and automation for everything, could it be that our brand's single greatest asset is its humanity? The story of Fast Signs really suggests that. In a world full of bots and algorithms, maybe the most powerful way to connect with people is just to be a person. Definitely something to think about.